Hello, I'd like to discuss about the flat earth. The most important point to discuss when talking about the flat earth. Whether you believe in the flat earth or not. If you don't, well then listen to this very important point, and if you can't solve this point, then you've got to admit that the earth is flat. Now of course, if you believe the earth is a globe, yeah, so did I, so did all of us for all of our lives. And thousands of us have realized differently in the past year. Okay, so the most important point to discuss when talking about the flat earth is about water. Water seeks its own level. No matter what you pour the water on, it will go to the lowest level it can, and on top of that water, it will be perfectly flat. Carpenters use a carpenter level, and I guess it's oil of some sort that they put inside, but nonetheless, it's a liquid, and this determines if something is flat or not. Now, this diagram that you see right here is a picture of a curvature of the supposed globe of the Earth with the water, and if it was curved, you can see that a line of sight, like through a telescope, would go off like this. This is emitted by flat earthers or by heliocentric believers. Okay, let's go to the next video here. However, if you were to line up, say, flags along a long canal, and you have a telescope at the other end, and even if this canal is a couple miles long, you would see that each flag is perfectly lined up, which would disprove that the earth is curved. If the earth is curved, everything else on it would have to be curved too. That includes water, and we know it's impossible for water to be on a curve. Another diagram right here. Okay, for example, this one would illustrate someone in a boat seeing an object on land, and of course the details are not listed here, but you could put in your own figures. Let's just say this is 5 miles. Well, with a telescope level like this, it would be impossible to see it because it would be under the curve of the earth. Now, we could see objects further away on land or on the sea. For example, you could say 20 miles away, and well, then this would be further under the curve. So in real life, let's just say that this is 20 miles away. We know that we can see an object, whether it be on sea or on land, 20 miles away, which would disprove that the earth is curved. Okay, because okay, this is the way it would look if the earth was curved. It'd be impossible to see it, yet we can see it. So unless you can answer this question here, then you've got to at least think, geez, maybe these flat earthers have something to talk about, maybe they are right. So then continue to read and watch videos, and there's plenty of them on YouTube here, professionally made, that would answer many of your questions. Okay, another one right here, we could see from one pier to another straight across. You can see one ship to another straight across. Okay, this is how it would look if the earth was curved. We could see something that is high enough to compensate for the curve, but we wouldn't be able to see anything underneath. Let's say I'm pointing at B here, underneath point B, or underneath point A. If this was a high building, then you don't be able to see this distance up. Okay, here's another thing. Now, this is a real-life experiment that was done many years ago. You could duplicate it today. Anyone can duplicate it, which means it's scientific. If it's duplicatable and you come to the same results, then that's a fact. Okay? This is about a man who was in the Bedford Canal in Cornwall in England, I think back in the 1870s, and he was in the water with a telescope looking at his buddy in a boat. It was 6 miles away. Now this canal had no locks. It was as straight as an arrow, and of course it's filled with water. And he was able to see the boat, down to the water level. Now, using the heliocentric figures that they give us, with the Earth at 24,000 miles in diameter, it gives us a figure of 8 inches times the distance squared. That means that seeing an object in the water 6 miles away should be impossible, because let's use the globe Earth believers figures, based on the Earth. This is using spherical trigonometry, so it's squared is something times itself, so 6 times 6 is 36 times 8, that's 8 inches of course, so that comes out to 288 inches. You divide that by 12 to get the feet, so that is 24 feet. That means that anything under 24 feet from the surface would be possible to see it 6 miles away. Yet this person saw, his friend in a boat, and you can see your friend in a boat too, at 6 miles away with a telescope. So therefore, it would be impossible, because there should have been a 24-foot drop curvature on a distance of 6 miles. So, and the fact that the water does not maintain a hill, then that's another proof too that the Earth is flat. And then a lot of people that don't believe this, they present another question and another question. They completely ignore the most important one that would settle all the questions. You might not know the answer to the other ones, but at least you would have to know, well, the Earth is flat, but you might not know, well, how does the sun give us night and day? Well, that's another question, but you'd have to admit that the Earth is flat, because unless you can prove that the water holds on a ball or any other odd shape, that the Earth is flat. You could do an experiment like this. You could do this on land or in the water. Of course, on land it would be simpler. Set up a flag at every distance of, say, a mile, 2 miles, whatever, and the same height flag, and look through a telescope, and you'll be able to see all of them. So here's one that illustrates 6 miles, and you can still see that flag. You can put one at the very end, the higher up, to say, hey, this is the end flag. And like I said, it would be impossible to see this, because this flag number 6 would be normally behind the curve of the Earth. And it would be like, say, down here somewhere, and it would be way below the line of vision. So it would be like this, right there, if the Earth was a globe. And so I hope this gives you a good understanding of, makes you stop and think about the flat Earth. And thank you for listening.